Okay, my talk's called Planning for Disaster, How to Set Up Unmaintainable Indexing Workflows. My name is Mark Matienzo, and if I've talked to you, for any of you, for more than 5 minutes, you've probably heard my horror stories. And so my first thing to say is I have a disclaimer, and these are my opinions and not those of my employer. I love the people I work for, but I just get really frustrated with them. So to give you background, the Center for History of Physics, the department I work for, has an archives, but we have very little space. One of our main responsibilities, therefore, is to collect data about collections and try to place them in the most appropriate repository. For example, if a faculty member of the physics department passes away, we try to urge that university archives to take the collection. And so, even though we don't bring in much ourselves, we maintain metadata, and we do that in two ways. First is the International Catalog of Sources, which is marked data served through Horizon, and the Physics History Finding Aids website, which contains EAD, HTML, and PDF finding aids. And these aren't just our finding aids. There's a link right there if you want to take a look. The goal is to create a searchable index of finding aids for history of physics. This is something that we had kind of a great idea, but we weren't really sure how to implement for a really long time. And it originated in an early EAD project around 1999. If any of you knew Clay Redding, he worked on that pretty early on, and he did great work. I mean, I'm not trashing him at all. He was a saint as far as I'm concerned. So we were really pushed to use Verity, and I don't know if any of you are familiar with Verity, but it's the bane of my existence. It never really worked over a period of 4 years, and I just started there about a year ago. And about 2 or 3 months ago, we began to rethink the process a lot. But the thing is, we still had to use Verity. We didn't have administrative access to machines. We couldn't run the indexing process ourselves. It wasn't ideal in a lot of ways. So what we decided to do kind of to patch things up in not perfect ways is to create an XML file which contained the URLs of finding aids we wanted to index. So this is just a screenshot, for example, of what it looks like, just a fragment. So you see some Caltech finding aids, a Georgia Tech finding aid, and one from Harvard. It's a really simple schema. We just make sure it's well formed. We don't really validate it too strictly because we don't have to. And from this XML, using XSLT, we create HTML. And this is what it looks like. If you can't see it, the URL is on the last page. It's just aip.org/history/EAD/browse.html. And we were told that Verity could parse this file, but that's not true. That's something that somebody in the web development department promised us, but no, it's not true. So what happens is I had to create another style sheet based on the style sheet that somebody in the web development department created to turn this XML into a bash script, which called the Verity indexer. And we still couldn't run it ourselves, so the solution that somebody in the web development department created was to create the CGI Perl script where you could just click a button and it would run this bash script for it. And this was supposed to be some miraculous solution. So this is the end product. I don't know if you're familiar with the This Old House Home Improvement Nightmares webpage, but it's brilliant. This is a dual-wide garage, and this is somebody's jury-rigged solution to open 2 garage doors at the same time. And so these are the problems that we're having. The transforms are done manually. We need to remember to do these. And until recently, I realized that nobody else could do them except me based on permissions. If we don't remember to run the transform, then the indexer won't add new data. And we still can't debug the indexer problems ourselves. And finally, the CGI page is not behind the firewall, which opens us up to a lot of vulnerabilities. And luckily, nobody really hates physicists that much. So that's what I've got. I love AIP, but I've been pulling my hair out, and I'm glad I discovered solar. And I have 18 seconds for questions.
What's the URL for the button? Yeah.
I can't give that. 10 seconds. I'm pretty proud of it. It's as a hat.